Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a new star entering the arena of my students who rock. I have long been wanting to pause this game, so it is only time that now we do justice to this masterpiece. Student playing white, we are entering the Scotch territory, which is always fun when it comes to chess as well as when it comes to drinking, although I'm not really an authority in this regard as I'm a non-drinker, but other people say it's pretty cool. So let's see what's happening here. So dude plays queen f6, somewhat unusual. Bishop c5 and occasionally check, and of course knight f6 are the main lines. Queen f6 I guess would try to attempt to transport back into a bishop c5 line if I were to play bishop e3. I'm not quite sure if there is a way to punish this. I will try to. Knight b5 comes to mind, but I don't know. Anyway, they took back with the queen. That looks like a shocker. Bishop c5 now definitely takes us back to the bishop c5 main line, where after bishop c5, knight c6, black's best is queen f6. Excuse me. Yeah, so take queen takes looks a little bit iffy because now black is falling behind in development, and a6 is an absolute facepalm there, so that's just a shocker. Bishop b4, maybe knight f6, but development needed to be done instantly because black is really behind. I like bishop e3. The computer's favorite choice is quite interestingly queen d4. I guess to some degree to hinder the development of the king side, because the bishop then can't move when knight f6 is often met by e5, but this is very far from natural. Bishop e3 is, and again, how typical that the engine here wants to play this move. I mean, are you for real, computer? Seriously? This is just absolutely surreal that the ideas that the computers sometimes comes up with, and all I have to say is that unfortunately this move is sound. Wow. Just wow. Well, I suppose that justifies queen d4 then. Okay, so we played bishop e3. No surprise there that bishop a3 wasn't played. Queen d4 now. Still a good move, but not as good as it would have been a move before. Bishop takes, pawn takes. No thank you to queen trade, of course. Queen g6, yet another queen move. I think that my student's opponent really wanted to give an opportunity to my student here to enter the world of chess fame by allowing him to play a game that then would make it to my student's rock, because that was their third queen move in the opening, and still everybody's at home. So this is really looking like a 19th century romantic classic, and trust me, this game is not going to disappoint in that regard. Bishop c4, again a very logical move, I quite like it. Queen takes g2, facepalm again. Like, you should never ever look at, looking at this is already a mortal sin. So d6 or knight e7 followed by castles, just do something with your pieces. Taking this is just, yeah, beyond words. But then again, as Alekhine stated it, you can't play a beautiful chess masterpiece without your opponent making some mistakes. Castles, total no-brainer, and here I would like to stop for a deep breath, not really a deep one, but I would like to mention that usually points like this in a chess game is when I like to stop, and I tell my students that if you are white in a position like this is how I want you to stand all the time. If you are black, I want you to never in your life repeat anything remotely similar to this, because this is how winning chess is looking like, and this is how losing chess is looking like. So, and obviously all the decisions that led here, including the many queen moves versus the beautiful development, is just a logical prequel to what we have on the board now. Knight f6, rook dg1 was played. Most would argue that rook hg1 makes more sense, but that would have killed part of the beauty. because after rook dg1, queen e4, now our student was facing a small issue, namely that rook takes g7 was not possible on account of queen takes h1 check. Or was it? Ta-da! Another big lesson here for you. When your opponent plays a move thinking that they prevented your number one intention, you still check your number one intention. And this is a textbook case of that. We let the rook go. Before I show you the main line, which was queen takes h1, queen d4, bishop d4 just kills black on the long diagonal. f7 is hanging. It's just absolutely untenable. But that being said, that would have been the very best of the many terrible choices that black had here. They took the queen because they wanted to set up a new world record in the largest number of queen moves made before resignation contest. And after king b2, we have got a beautifully wide array or range of lovely finishes. It's really awesome to see how black got absolutely butchered. And in fact, now it brought the game back to my mind. Bobby Fischer versus Ruben Fine in a evens gambit. Oh boy, I will have to look it up. I want to show you this now. Well, I actually didn't plan this video, so I didn't plan to involve that game in this now, but I got very tempted. So let me very quickly mess this game up a little bit to see if I can find that. So let's see some lines. Queen e4 was played in the game and is likely going to be almost identical to what queen c6 would look like, which is the recommendation of the computer. And that's actually exactly the line that brought the Fischer-Fine motif to my mind. And by the way, not that I want to brag, but this type of pattern recognition helps you a lot when playing games like this. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, it's because I typed in the wrong person. So, yeah, I'm not finding it. Bugger. Ha, gotcha. Right, sorry, I got distracted. So, here we go. Queen e5, Schach. And if the king goes to d8, this bishop g5 is an absolute ripper. And bishop takes f6 is going to win the whole entire chess set, because otherwise black gets mated. Note that queen e6 check is queen e6 block is not possible due to bishop takes. And of course, if the king goes there, then check here and then mate. Although I have to admit that I was very disappointed that this is mating 1, because I really wanted this to be the star line of this game, which would have been an absolutely fabulous checkmate finish. But unfortunately, in my opinion, chess etiquette requires that if you have a mating 1, you go for it, and you don't go for flashy stuff like that. But nonetheless, I needed to show you that because it's a lovely motif. So the game continued. Queen e4, bishop takes f7 check, and cool stuff is to come. They played king d8, sorry, king f8. King d8 is also beautiful. After queen takes f6 check, queen e7, we have got a fabulously powerful bishop g5. Again, note the domination of the white pieces over the black ones. A beautiful double bishop checkmate right there for us. King e7 would have strongly been met by bishop d5 check, when if worse comes to worse we pick up the lady, but the reality is that no one would take that when we can take a horse, right? And now we have got, again, multiple checkmate threats whilst the queen is still hanging. So this is another see you later alligator. And finally we move on to the game continuation, which is king f8, yet another fantabulous checkmate, queen takes f6, and now again 16 different mate patterns are hanging in the air. Luckily this time around the opponent allowed the nicest one. Queen e7, rook g8 check, bishop takes, and bishop h6 puts the icing on the cake. The rook had to block, and bishop takes was the end of a beautiful, absolutely beautiful demonstration of how to play very good and powerful and aggressive chess when your opponent goes complete lala and plays queen moves across the board, pinching meaningless pawns, which is something that we really should frown upon and consider it to be an absolutely mortal sin in chess. And the way how it got punished in this game with this fabulous rucksack was really awesome. I just love it, the fact that after king b2, yeah, black is so utterly helpless because of the beautiful threats that white has created. And now, because of my amazing memory and the terrible internet aligned this thing for us together, it seems that I will be able to show you, after all, the Fischer-Fine game just on top of this, so that we get a bit of extra learning in, and you will see my terrible association. But then again, it doesn't matter how far off you are when you're trying to not necessarily remember, but associate your thinking, and you go like, yeah, I've seen a position like this or a motif like this somewhere where it worked. And even if upon checking it turns out that, well, actually that motif was totally different, it doesn't matter, because the point is, the main idea is that you want to look for a kill, which in that particular case it was that bishop g5 move I showed you. Now here Fischer absolutely destroys Fine, who was one of the finest grandmaster from the United States. I think he became a very famous psychologist or psychiatrist. I think that he was basically like an American Sigmund Freud. I think that he actually followed and built on Freud's theories, but I may be wrong on that. I will have to look it up. So yeah, Fischer absolutely butchers the guy here. I mean, once again, look at the development versus absolute nada. And then I think he pulled the bunny out of the head here with queen g3. So it's a little bit far-fetched, because the whole idea with this move is to allow bishop f6 mate, and I somewhat compared this to the concept of queen c6, then queen check here and then mate. Well, I'm more than happy for you to be the judge and tell me that I'm absolutely, yeah, weird by making the two sound like they are alike. But when I saw this position, that was the game that instantly came to my mind, and I went like, well, not instantly, but as you could see, there was a connection there. So it's a good thing when you can link games you have seen in the past, hence my series No Die Classics, because then you can marry it up beautifully with this. In fact, that would have been a good way to put it in a No Die Classics, but now it's all about my student who absolutely rocked and still does. So thank you for sending the game to me. I'm very happy that he has made it to my series as well, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little somewhat erratic game analysis, and I shall be back with more. Thank you for watching. Bye.